Page 13, Chapter 1, Mukti Juddho, The Making of Bangladesh. Para. On the midnight of 14 and 15 August 1947, India was partitioned into two dominions, India and Pakistan, and the two subcontinental neighbors embarked on markedly distinct political trajectories. In India, after the assassination of Mahatma Gandhi on 30th January 1948, the mantle of leading the nation fell on Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, the architect of modern India. From 15th August 1947 to 27th May 1964, he was the gentle colossus who guided India, laying the foundations of the country's modern democratic administration by enacting the magnificent Constitution of India. Within 5 years of independence, the right to choose their leaders, I repeat, rulers, was transferred to the people of India, and they exercised this power in the general elections in 1952, conducted impartially by an independent election commission on the basis of universal adult franchise. Para. After establishing modern democratic practices and institutions in India, Nehru also set in motion the process of modern economic development and laid the cornerstone of India's foreign policy with the non-aligned movement. This soon became a movement against colonialism and a cry for liberation for a large number of Asian, African, and Latin American countries, thus placing India in the position of the leader of the Third World. Page 14. Para. With Nehru's death in 1964 came a political vacuum, as is bound to happen with the exit of a charismatic leader. The Indian National Congress suffered electorally in the general elections in 1967. While it just managed a slender majority in the Lok Sabha, it failed to get even that in a large number of states. A number of political parties emerged as powerful regional players, thus weakening the hegemony of the Congress. Organizational contradictions, which came to the fore with Nehru's death, finally led to the split of the Indian National Congress in 1969. Para. And then came the bold leadership of Indira Gandhi. Under her command, the Congress, with the support of a range of political parties such as the Dravida Munnetra Kazhagam, DMK, and the Communist Party of India, CPI, emerged victorious in the mid-term general elections of 1971, getting a two-thirds majority in the Lok Sabha and later, in 1972, recovering many of the state assemblies it had lost earlier. Para. As these events were unfolding in India, eastern Pakistan was in the throes of momentous change. In the first ever free general elections in Pakistan, the Awami League of East Pakistan, led by Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, won a clear victory in the Pakistan National Assembly, PNA. With this, the history of the subcontinent reached a turning point in 1971. Para. The year began positively for Pakistan, with democracy on the ascent and elections looming. However, it ended with the country being partitioned. A Pakistan consisting of two geographically distant parts, East and West Pakistan, separated by 1,600 kilometers of Indian territory, became two nations, Pakistan and Bangladesh. Page 15. Para. The inherent contradictions of the inherent contradictions of the entity that was Pakistan, as demarcated by the Radcliffe Line, were evident even when the country was born, but increasingly so in the subsequent politics of the newly emergent nation. With a minority of the population share of the country, West Pakistan had a significantly larger share of revenue allocation, which facilitated industrial and infrastructural development and agricultural reforms. Not only that, West Pakistan elites, Punjabis and Afghans, dominated the country's politics, to the near exclusion of the Bengalis of East Pakistan. However, economic neglect and political exclusion were not the only issues burning East Pakistan's psyche. There was also the issue of ethnic and linguistic discrimination. Was the split then not inevitable? Para. The politics of Bengal, particularly the role played by Muslim politicians and legislatures, is of significance in this context. And to understand this better, it is necessary to go back in time. Para. As mandated by the Government of India Act 1935, provincial assembly elections were held in 1937 throughout British India for control of the autonomous provincial assemblies. Congress got a majority in 5 provinces, the United Provinces of Agra and Oudh, open bracket, UP, close bracket, Central Provinces and Berar, open bracket, now Madhya Pradesh, close bracket, Bihar, Orissa, and the Madras Presidency, open bracket, where with 74% of all seats, it eclipsed the Justice Party, close bracket. I repeat, Orissa and the Madras Presidency, open bracket, where with 74% of all seats, it eclipsed the Justice Party, close bracket. In the Northwest Frontier Province, open bracket, NWFP, close bracket, the Congress, with minor party support, was able to form a ministry. Similarly, in Bombay, where it fell just short of gaining half the seats, it was able to draw on the support of small pro-Congress groups to form a majority. Page 16. Bengal, Assam, and Punjab saw an indecisive verdict, though the Congress and Muslim League got a big chunk of seats. Footnote 4. In Sindh, the Sindh United Party got a clear majority. Para. In Bengal, the Congress got about 52 seats. The Muslim League got 39, while A.K. Fazlul Huq's Krishak Praja Party, open bracket, KPP, close bracket, got 36 seats. Footnote 5. The fractured verdict resulted in Fazlul Huq first trying to build a coalition government with the Congress. He preferred to join hands with the Congress and other nationalists rather than the Muslim League. Though Sharat Chandra Bose, open bracket, Subhash Chandra Bose's elder brother, close bracket, a prominent Congress leader in Bengal and the leader of the Congress party in the assembly, agreed to join hands with Fazlul Huq. No consensus could be reached on the joint program. An angry Fazlul Huq decided to seek the support of the Muslim League instead. Para. Thus, a Krishak Praja Party Muslim League coalition government with support from scheduled caste and some independent upper caste Hindu MLAs came to power. The Muslim League took full advantage of its governmental authority in Bengal to extend its support base over the Muslim masses. It also befriended Huq and persuaded him to join the League within a short time with many of his followers. In fact, in his anxiety to accommodate every interest that could support his government, Huq became a minority within the ministry. This, as also his abandonment of the election pledges, caused rumblings in the KPP. As early as March 1938, a majority of the KPP Assembly Party sat with the opposition to register their protest. Huq realized that he could save his ministry only with Jinnah's support and joined the League at its annual session at Lucknow in December 1937. Between 1937 and 1940, Huq was drawn into the vortex of Muslim League politics, although he never felt comfortable in the landlord-dominated party. Footnote 6. Footnotes. Footnote 4. See Imperial India and the Growth of National Identity. Schwarzberg, Atlas, Volume 5, page 222. Footnote 5. Syed Umar Hayat, Muslim Political Ascendancy in Bengal. Pakistan Journal of History and Culture, Volume 28, Roman, number 2, 2007, page 119. Footnote 6. Nitish K. Sengupta, History of the Bengali-Speaking People, open bracket, New Delhi, 2001, close bracket, pages 426 to 27. Page 17. Fazlul Haq had a checkered political career as he was aligned to or part of various political parties between 1941 and 1946. He became the first Premier of Bengal in 1937, open bracket, joining the Muslim League shortly thereafter, close bracket. But this government did not last for its full term and collapsed in December 1941. Though he moved the famous Lahore Resolution in the Muslim League Council in 1940, open bracket, later interpreted as a demand for a single state of Pakistan, close bracket, he did not support the proposal for a separate dominion of Pakistan in 1946, as a result of which his party lost miserably in the face of an ascendant Muslim League. Para. As Premier of Bengal, Fazlul Haq's unique contribution was in safeguarding the interests of Bengal's peasantry. Rescuing them from the clutches of moneylenders, he provided debt-burdened peasants relief through the Debt Recovery Settlement Board. Significantly, Fazlul Haq was responsible for creating a powerful middle class, which became the foundation of Bengal's politics in subsequent years. Para. The verdict of 1946 clearly demonstrated the able leadership of Hussain Shahid Suhrawardi and the organizational ability of Abul Hashim, General Secretary of the Muslim League. Ahead of this election, Suhrawardi had offered Fazlul Haq a deal. 40 Muslim constituencies to Fazlul Haq's nominees if they filed their nominations as Muslim League candidates. Fazlul Haq rejected the proposal outright and contested elections on a separate manifesto. Page 18. The result was clear. The Muslim League won 115. I repeat, the Muslim League won 115 of the 121 Muslim seats, while nationalist Muslims and Fazlul Haq's party were completely washed out, as was the Congress. Open bracket, though the Congress fared well in general seats, winning 87 out of 90, close bracket, footnote 7. This was also the first time that the Communist Party contested elections, winning 3 seats. Jyoti Basu, Ratanlal Brahmin, and Rupnarayan Roy were elected. Para. In spite of the mandate, Suhrawardy did not form the government immediately. With the view that a large part of the population would have no representation in such a government, he endeavored to co-opt the Congress into a coalition. Senior leaders of both parties tried to work things out, but their efforts were unsuccessful. Consequently, on 23 April 1946, Suhrawardy formed his cabinet with 7 other members of the Muslim League and Jogendranath Mondal, leader of the Scheduled Castes Federation, the lone Hindu minister in the cabinet. The family of the Nawab of Dhaka was not represented in this cabinet, though the Nawab of Bogra, Muhammad Ali, held a cabinet post. Most of the ministers were from the upper middle class. Para. This government's darkest hour came This government's darkest hour came only a few months later. The Muslim League had announced 16th August 1946 to be observed as Direct Action Day to press for their demand for Pakistan. While it was expected that the agitation would be against the British, in Calcutta it turned into a communal confrontation between Hindus and Muslims instead. Hindus and Sikhs were targeted on the assumption that they were opposed to the creation of Pakistan. While there are many published accounts of this period, 2 experimental accounts stand out. Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, founder of Bangladesh, and the then leader of the student wing of the Muslim League, provides a glimpse into the time of irrationally raised passions in his book, The Unfinished Memoirs, footnote 8, as does Tapan Roy Chaudhary in his Bangal Nama, footnote 9. Para. It didn't stop at Calcutta, though. Riots spread to Noakhali in Bengal and then Bihar and Punjab. Hindu-Muslim amity was thrown to the winds and sanity was lost for the time being. This was in sharp contrast to the glorious Hindu-Muslim unity demonstrated against British rule in November 1945, when Hindus and Muslims jointly demonstrated on the streets of Calcutta against the British policy of divide and rule. Perceptions of safety radically changed in Calcutta from what they were before 16th August. While Calcutta streets were perceived to be safe for Hindus and Muslims, Before this day, they became unsafe thereafter. Para. The period after the Second World War was one of momentous political change in India. Page 19. In its wake, Congress-led ministries resigned from the United Provinces of Agra and Oudh. The central provinces, Bihar, Orissa, NWFP, Bombay and Madras, in protest against the unilateral decision of the British government to make India declare war against the German Axis forces and become a part of the Allied forces led by Britain without assessing public opinion in India. Footnotes. Footnote 7. Nitish K. Sengupta, Land of Two Rivers. A History of Bengal from the Mahabharata to Mujib. India, 2011, page 454. Footnote 8. Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, The Unfinished Memoirs. Open bracket, New Delhi, 2012, close bracket. Footnote 9. Tapun Roy Choudhury, Bangal Nama, open bracket, Kolkata, 2007, close bracket. Para. To resolve the crisis and effect a political resolution,